and a three, and a two, and a one. Sorry, I'm just fucking around. I left this out for a very special viewer, Miss Techie and Mr. Techie. But that aside, I am concerned. It's actually a topic that I wanted to talk about for quite a while. So, almost over a year ago, late November 2024, Australia all but has pushed the domino. And right now, we're seeing the aftermath of that domino. What I'm talking about is worldwide censorship employed at a large scale. And to give you a bit of context and to give you a bit of background, I grew up in the part of the world where most of the content and most of the internet has already been sanitized, homogenized, and monitored to the extremes. So for me, that occurring on the other side of the world doesn't really surprise me, but it does really concern me. Because for a very long time, we have appreciated the freedoms that the other side had, i.e. the US and the West as a whole. And while there is some discrepancies and scrutiny over it, I do think that the US specifically is the bastion of free speech. However, what I'm seeing right now being unfolded, i.e. through Visa, MasterCard, payment providers, practically behaving like this callous and dictating morals and ethics over what can be bought and what can't be bought, is extremely dystopian. But so is shoehorning kids into this vehicle in the argument that we are doing this for the safety of the kids. I know it's bullshit, and you know it's bullshit too. That is not the case. This is just 1984 happening. It is quite literally the most dystopian it can be. And if it keeps going down that path, I can see practically every country becomes its own China. Every country becomes its own. I'm not going to name the country because I, live close to it. But you get the gist of it. So I think the greater reason for why this is happening is to push and control narratives without much pushback. Because usually when a narrative is being perpetrated by the media, big tech companies, or the government, there is a way for us to push back through the internet because of the anonymity that is provided to us. But with the ID verification that's going on and the encroachment on your privacy, I don't think that's feasible anymore. But I will even double down on this. The internet is extremely vulnerable. I mean, the most recent example that I could point out from the top of my head is the T app. Effectively, like, we're just doxing men, toxic men, from toxic women. And it's just like, it's a complete level of satire to just see all of these people getting doxed. All of their information just gets out there, like, up for grabs. And not to mention, big tech companies are always like the main target, not just for advertisers, but also for hackers and other entities. So when I see stuff like that unfold, it puts me at unease. We all go to the internet and use the internet for a reason, and that big part of it is anonymity. The other part of it is we get to understand the other side, and we get to abandon our xenophobic traits that we have and have a better understanding of different cultures, different people, etc. So effectively what's going on right now is I think every country is going to have its own version of the internet to where it's just an echo chamber. So, you have your communist countries like China, Iran, Russia. They have their own versions of the internet, and if they wanted access to like the World Wide Web, the open internet that everybody else uses, they would have to resort to VPNs, which I get it. VPN is a band-aid solution to the problem. Like, not just like to access pornography. Pornography is just like an excuse. I think it delves deeper into that. It's the case of, again, like as I stated before, censorship and control of narrative, and they can crack down on public discourse. So your civil liberties is at risk. This is a serious discussion, and I can see it be implemented and applied in the US, but also other countries are going to follow suit within the next 5 years. So within the next 5 years, you're practically stripped naked. I mean, biometric scanning is already a thing, and like whenever that happened, I felt like I was being stripped naked. But now it's just a reality, and I'm like, man. Because other countries see what like the big player is doing, and they follow suit. It's like, oh shit, okay, the US is doing this, all right, let's do that too. I mean, granted, it was perpetrated by a different country. It doesn't really matter in a grand scheme of things, because it was inevitable. I think the internet that we grew up with in the early 2000s to the late 2010s is not really ideal in this day and age. Like, it's the party's over, the lights get turned off, and everybody needs to go home. And I think that's the case now, that the party's over, the lights turned off, and we're all going home. Except your home is an overly monitored, overly engineered, advertiser-friendly slop machine that cannot be contested for the sake of creating a better environment for the kids. So I don't know what to say about, like, there are so many looming thoughts about this topic specifically. Just, I don't know what future the newer generation will have in the years to come. What is it going to be like? Is everybody just going to use Tor? I don't see that being possible, and even then, I mean, you know and I know that most of the people that use Tor are just working in intelligence agencies, and the other half are shady people. So that's also not a reasonable choice to have. I think we need to protest this as much as possible, because your privacy, but also your liberties, is at risk here. This is a serious discussion, and I haven't really given it much thought, but I knew for a fact that I'm really upset about this, and I wanted to make a video about it, because it does not serve the interests of the people. It serves the interests of government, and big tech companies have to comply with government, regardless of how much lenience they have with them. They only have so much influence before the final decisive decision gets made, which is applied from the governing body of that state or that country. And that's where we're at. Again, like, it's applying to Western countries, but it will also follow suit in other countries that it has not been applied for before. And we're just going to have different versions of the internet in different countries, but they're effectively the same thing. Echo chambers of whatever narrative and whatever agendas that media companies and, you know, policymakers want to deem worthy. I think, like, the big example from recent years was COVID. You couldn't contest it, and it radicalized a lot of people to go on the right side because it couldn't have been contested. And by the way, disclaimer, I'm not an anti-vaxxer. I'm just saying, people that contested the narrative got called a lot of terrible fucking things. Regardless of what you think of them, I think people should have the right to like discuss these things. So it's aggravating. Like the internet's not supposed to be built for fucking advertisers or tyrants. This is not what it's about. And it's sad to see, man. It really fucking is. But yeah, if you have any thoughts about this, if you want to share your thoughts about this, if you're angry as much as I am, feel free to share your thoughts in the comment section down below, or not. But yeah, that was these are not necessarily my 2 cents, but this is how I feel at the moment. This is just a knee-jerk reaction to what is going on. Hopefully I get to collect my thoughts more about this whole topic and maybe view it from a different lens. But at the moment, this is what I think. I think the kids are being used as an excuse to further push the whole world in this like surveillance state. And obviously you have other reasons of which, like, you know, they want to overly moderate it so that way like activism but also terrorism does not thrive, which I'm for that. We don't need terrorism, but a degree of activism and dissent is needed to keep checks and balances, in my opinion. That's just what I think. And at the end of the day, I don't want to be thought policed by a bunch of tone deaf politicians or corporations about what they think is wrong or what I think is right, just because some incompetent fucking parents cannot monitor their children. We should not cater and redesign the world into what's ideal for them. I'll double down. We shouldn't outsource raising our kids, or sorry, your kids, because you failed as a fucking parent. It's not my fucking job. I don't want my internet ruined because you're too fucking incompetent to raise your fucking kid. But I'll double down even more. There's parental controls on every machine, every router. So there's already safety nets in place. Why is this such a big fucking deal? You know it's bullshit. But the way I see it, people are going to comply and just bend the knee because people are too comfortable where they're at in life and they're just not going to do anything about it. Yeah. That's how I feel. I'm extremely fucking pissed. You can argue about me you can argue with me about this in the comment section, but this is what I think. I think people have gotten too comfortable outsourcing a lot of things to set entities. And we'll leave it at that note. But yeah, thank you all for watching. Let me know what you guys think, and I'll catch you on the next upload. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Peace!